Did the ancient Egyptians do psychedelics? As we all know, this civilization was incredibly advanced to the point where we're still trying to figure out how exactly they built these pyramids, and they seem to have this sort of fascination with immortality and the afterlife. There's a bunch of different clues hidden in their mythology and hieroglyphs that they probably used a variety of different psychoactive substances. For starters, it's highly likely that they used mushrooms, and we see all sorts of depictions of them in their artifacts and hieroglyphs. Ancient Egyptians believed that mushrooms were plants of immortality and gifts from the god Osiris. In museums and different collections, we have a bunch of these old Egyptian chalices, and whenever one of them was tested, it was revealed that it contained traces of Syrian rue and blue lotus. Syrian rue is still used pretty heavily today because it's an MAOI, and people take it in combination with something like DMT to make it orally active, but Syrian rue is actually psychoactive all on its own. Blue lotus is still used today as well. It contains the alkaloids apomorphine and luciferine, and it's said to have this sort of sedating zen-like effect to it. And my favorite of them all is the theory that the Egyptians had their own ayahuasca brew. There's a tree that grows along the Nile River called Acacia nilotica, and it contains DMT. They call it the tree of life, where the first gods of Egypt were born. And since we already know that they were familiar with MAOIs like Syrian rue, they were incredibly advanced, and they seem to have this obsession with the afterlife, it's really not that far of a stretch to think that they figured this shit out. And on top of this, if you look at Egyptian artwork, it honestly just kind of seems to have this heavy, DMT sort of slant to it. And take this from a guy who's done a lot of DMT. I'm telling you, if they weren't doing DMT, then they were definitely somewhere within that tryptamine palace. And these are just a few of the substances that history points towards, but we also know that they drank a lot of beer and wine, and they likely used that really famous herb that people like to smoke that TikTok won't let me mention. And if we're just being honest with ourselves, they probably used a very wide range of different psychoactive and psychedelic substances, and even probably went as far to alchemize and combine things. If you look at modern day psychedelic culture, people still like to combine and find these special synergies that bring their experiences to another level. So yes, the Egyptians probably did do psychedelics, and maybe, just maybe, it was their connection to the divine that propelled their society to these unimaginable heights.